meeting of the Committee of the Whole to order. Let's rise and begin with roll call. Begin with pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now we'll start with roll call.
Okay, Paul Dwyer.
Here.
Travis Schulze.
Here.
Richard Yarrington.
Present.
John Glenn.
Here.
Sean Zabinski. Here. Mitchell Kale.
Here.
Patrick Devine.
Here.
Nellie Pater. Here. And Dean Peterson.
Here.
Thanks. Next item, we're looking for the approval of the minutes from May 19th, 2025.
I move to approve the minutes of May 19th.
Second.
We have a motion to approve in a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They're approved. The next item is the acceptance of the reports. Do we do them all collectively together or each one separate? All together? So that it's the city clerk monthly report, the treasurer monthly report, public works and utilities report, the police department monthly report, and the Toma Chamber and Visitors Center monthly report.
Is there a reason I'm not on
The only ones that aren't here are PD and Chamber.
You're not required to.
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
So we have a motion to approve in a second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I have several questions for the treasurer to start with.
Good, sir.
First off, I noticed there's no bank statements or accounts as far as funds available to the, on hand for the city in the reports.
Yes.
Why is that?
I just tried something new in the sense of letting you guys know where we stand for those financial statements. If you want to still include those too. I was just trying to see, letting you guys know every month what kind of an inside view would be. Would you like those two, Alderperson and Yarrington? Like I can include them too.
I'm kind of used to seeing the monthly reports as far as the funds on hand.
Gotcha. I can make that happen.
Now, second question. When I look at the budget comparisons, I look at the expenditure line items for salaries and overtime. The percentage comes out at 34%. That's only 4 months. Yet this report's for 5.5 months.
I mean, the financials gets to get moved every month, so when the journal ledger gets updated, that pulls forward. I can check into it, but it should be accurate. I can also update it to the jails just in case anything was missed.
Next question. On revenue accounts, why is there no property tax revenue showing?
Because all those are journal entries I haven't put in yet, based on the end of the year.
Shouldn't that be posted as it's
Well, what happens is when we settle,
reconciled with the county treasurer?
yeah, when we settle with the county, there is journal entries I have to do. I have not gotten to that point yet.
Don't you reconcile after each quarterly payment or bi-monthly payment?
Yes, I am a little behind because of the structure change.
Did you have any questions?
Yeah, so you said they're not gonna be here anymore?
We made that change 2 months ago.
I thought I was gonna be here for questions.
Sure.
Director Morales?
Sure. Yep, we can, sure.
They're all here, except for the chamber and PD, they're on vacation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I just.
But you have the treasurer, the clerk, director of public works and utilities on the screen, and then those other two. Now, Parks and Rec is on vacation today. He's gonna be here tomorrow with his report.
Okay. It's just very odd to have no one in the office.
Yeah, it's just how it shook out summer vacation schedules.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Thanks for the clarification. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
So the reports are accepted. We'll move on to the general item of the agenda. Item number 7, approval of the resolution for payment of monthly bills.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve. We have a second. Any further discussion?
I have a question for, Trustee. I was going through this, and there was a question on page 106 that I wasn't sure what it's for. It said Delta Dental.
Yes,
What,
that's one of our benefits we offer through the city. We pay it out monthly.
is it an employee?
Yes.
Okay,
Hmm.
that's what I thought, but I just wanted to ask.
Hmm.
Thank you.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We approved the resolution for the payment of the monthly bills. Next, item number 8, approval of the annual renewal of Class A liquor, Class A fermented malt beverage, Class B liquor, Class B fermented malt beverage, and Class C wine licenses.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve, seconded by Tony. Any further discussion?
Is there any open licenses right now, or are they all taken?
As of right now, they're all taken. We have one bar that is looking at possibly closing, so they haven't renewed that license. But we do, if they choose to not renew, we do have a waiting list, so it would be filled probably pretty quickly.
Thanks. So we have a motion to approve in a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 9, approval of temporary Class B fermented malt beverage and temporary Class B wine license application by the Toma Lions Club.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve in a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 10, approval of special event outdoor cabaret license for Scott Wilcox at Gillette Park in downtown Toma for music in the park throughout June, July, and August of 2025.
I make a motion to approve.
A second.
We have a motion to approve in a second. Any further discussion?
This must be just cleaning up something that wasn't taken care of prior?
That's my understanding, these have already started.
Yeah, these are already started.
He did bring his application late,
Okay.
yeah, but we wanted to make sure it got approved.
So I missed the last meeting.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure I've already heard it.
yeah, he's had one meeting, or one
One
event.
One
Sure.
event.
Thanks. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Motion carries. Item number 11, amendment to the job description for the city clerk.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve in a second. Any further discussion?
Is this pretty much just taking all the responsibilities of the same team, correct?
Yes, and HR.
HR, okay, got it. Awesome. Any things to go on?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 12, approval amendment to the job description for the city treasurer.
I'll make a motion to approve the amendment.
Second. We have a motion to approve in a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 13, approval, amendment to the job description of the Director of Public Works and Utilities.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 14, approval of budget amendment to transfer $500 from the elections operations to administrator operation for July 3rd employee barbecue.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Any further discussion?
Love the idea.
I would like Director Morales to kind of fill everybody in on why this was brought up.
Yeah, this is something that the senior executive team, we've been talking about since December, just employee recognition. That's why you now see the employee of the month at the Common Council, and then, you know, some other kind of morale type events. The treasurer and I, a few months ago, talked about some sort of barbecue when the weather gets warmer. And we brought it up at the bi-monthly department head meeting, and were met with resounding support and approval. So much so to the fact that, you know, they said, hey, there has in the past been a holiday party later in the year. I don't think we need to do just one event, but they said if we were to do one event, they would like to do this 3 July barbecue so that we can get the employees out in the warmer weather. Chief Adler and I discussed the event as well, and he offered up his facility for the barbecue and his equipment. So it's something that's seeing a lot of interdepartmental cooperation, and the whole genesis of it is, you know, sometimes as an employee working in city government, you are dealing with a lot of the community's grievances. You're trying to help them solve problems. I think this is one way in which we can remind our employees that they are appreciated and that their hard work for the city hasn't gone unnoticed. So that's what the background is on it. Does that answer the question, Mr. Mayor?
Thank you.
Awesome.
Fantastic idea. Thank you very much. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 15, final reimbursement of the facade improvement grant program application 1-2024.
I'll make a motion to approve the final reimbursement.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. Item number 16, facade improvement grant program application 2-2025. It's the bank bar.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve in a second. Any further discussion?
Yes. So I reviewed the downtown master plan that was last updated, well, I guess we could say several years ago. And in this request, it talks about not only the awning, but also painting of the facade. Out of an abundance of caution and not ending up with another pink building downtown, can we get some clarification on what color he intends to pick from the list of approved colors?
I can reach out for that clarification. We are also missing the financial statement as well. So when I reach back out to him to get that, I can ask him about the specific color for the paint.
Would it be acceptable to include the approval pending the receipt of that financial document along with an approved color choice?
Yes, if you all felt appropriate, you could amend the original motion to say approved contingent upon receiving the financial document and confirmation that the color scheme is in compliance with the downtown standards, and then that will prevent us having to delay the project for another month.
And then also, while I got you at the podium, a certificate of appropriateness should, I feel, have been done. Was that submitted?
We have not had those for these. We are, as we've discussed in the Long Range Planning Committee, reviewing the downtown design standards. If this project is approved, then they would need to go through and acquire all the other permits and certificates of appropriateness.
So financial first, then
Right,
what it
so,
looks like.
right, because there's no point submitting for it if they can't do the project.
Understood. So I guess I would just ask for an amended.
I will amend my motion to include that.
And then who's the second? No, you want to-
So to be specific, it would be contingent on the financial statement and the paint color. Yep.
So question on this, Director Morales. Are we putting this in there? Should we wait to have all that stuff before we put this into the agenda, or is that?
This is the first, these two applications you're seeing tonight are the first two where all that information hasn't been included up front. And so you also have the evaluation checklist, which in previous votes, you've had all green blocks. These have some red blocks saying we still need this information. In the case of the bank bar and the next application, we've just been kind of waiting for several months. And so at this point, we're putting it out for a vote. And then if you all want to make that amended motion, again, we cannot move forward with the project without those materials,
Okay, I just,
or that information, I should say. But correct, this is the first time you're seeing applications come in without all of that already included.
I'm just wondering if we should wait to put it in the back end until it's fully done. I don't know, just food for thought, just thinking about it.
Yeah, from a staff perspective, at what point do we just keep delaying an application, or do we kind of put it up there for approval? It's been applied for.
But my philosophy, these are all requirements to be applied for and to be granted. Why should we vote on it unless it's all fully done already? I guess that's just my viewpoint, I just thought of it, so
Yep.
appreciate it.
Yep.
Thing is, they've been sitting on this since March. If they can get them done, the sooner they get it done, the nicer it looks down there.
Oh, for sure, but they did submit
Yeah,
all the
I
things they
agree.
need to submit, so.
And are they saying why they're not getting good information?
No, in the case of the bank bar, originally, he had personal commitments that I won't get into, it's certainly not our business. And so it's just been trying to make things align, and then we have other stuff going on here too. So we, we'll send out, hey, you still need the following information, and then we may not come back around and follow up for, 2 or 3 weeks because we've got other stuff going on. What I would, say is I always encourage every applicant for any of our applications, no matter if it's fence permit, sign permit, or for this program, that if you want your request processed the quickest, it helps to fill out the application completely. Does that answer the question?
Good.
One other comment, just while we're on the topic. I think, and I don't condone turning in an application without all the proper documents, but I think this program is finally starting to get some traction. And people are seeing facade updates, and it's a finite amount of money, albeit a nice sum. So I get the rush for these guys to try to keep it moving forward. But I do agree, would be nice to have, all the boxes checked to make our decision easier. But I think this is a good project. Hopefully it'll look good and improve the facade of that building.
So even if we vote yes right now, it's just pending the rest of the information that's missing. So at least if we contact them, then we can say it's been approved if you give us the rest of the information. Sounds good. So all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Nay,
Motion carries. Item number 17, approval of facade improvement grant program application 4-2025, Toma Cash mercantile.
Make a motion to approve the facade improvement grant application 4-25 in the amount of $10,000 or 75% of the total project cost.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I see that in the section E, they didn't fill out that as well. I see that is well over the 75% of what the cost would be.
I'm sorry, I missed that. I would amend it to be contingent on the submission of a letter from a financial institution and a project illustration.
I got my second.
So we have the amended motion and the amended second. Any further discussion?
I have a question here. So, not quite sure why it was amended. Are these not facade improvements up to 10,000 or 75 less than the amount? So, I'm not sure why we amended it.
I amended my motion because it's missing two pieces of information to complete the application.
Just like the last one.
Yeah, just like the last
Oh,
one.
okay,
The same as that.
okay, got it, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, the amounts are good, but
It stays the same,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
I would like to make a comment. I think this is a great program that we're getting these buildings even better. And I thank you, Director, for doing your walk around and getting people to apply for these. It's, we've seen a great difference already in our downtown with these grants going out. So I appreciate everyone's work on this.
A lot of enthusiasm.
It's fantastic. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. Now, number 18, we are going to, looking for a motion to adjourn to closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 19.85, Section 1. Considering, yeah, I will. Considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee to discuss staffing and compensation for approval of a contract for a city administrator, approval, internal promotion to interim director of public works and utilities, deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session for approval, negotiating terms for purchase of land, approval, amendment to rental contract, conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved for, and approval of council directive regarding possible litigation.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Any further discussion?
comment. Not sure who on staff put the agenda together, but appreciate the added detail given the recent news on bodies going into closed session, so I appreciate those details. It helps me make an informed decision. Thank you.
And we are adjourned.
We should vote.
Oh, we need a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. President? Thank you.
Brian? Call this meeting to order at 6:30 PM on the 17th of June, Tuesday. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Paul Dwyer,
Here.
Travis Posey,
Here.
Richard Yarrington,
Present.
John Glenn,
Here.
Sean Zabinski. Here. Mitchell Kale, Patrick Devine.
Here.
Nellie Pater,
Here.
Dean Peterson.
Here. So we'll move on to the next item. Anyone desiring to appear before council? Is there anyone who wishes to appear before council? Seeing none, we'll move on to the mayor report, and that is, it's been a very busy month, week. We've got a lot of things accomplished this month, so I think that a lot of that effort was done by Director Morales, so I think we should just give him a round of applause. And then we'll move on to Employee of the Month, Mr. Dave Dupre.
Go ahead and come right up here in front of the podium. Eric, come down. All right, so good evening, everyone. Our Employee of the Month that was nominated by the department heads was Dave Dupree, who is our children's and young adult librarian. Dave got his master's in library science from UW Milwaukee and started working in the city January 2014. So, and Dave, if I've got it correct, your favorite part of being a librarian is seeing the kids smile.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah. So Dave, we really appreciate everything you've done for the city. You know, everybody has talked about how dependable you are, even-tempered, and just a joy to work with. So we appreciate you being an ambassador to the children and young adults coming to the library. Thank you very much.
It's an honor. So on behalf of the city of Portland, welcome you to Employee of the Month. Thank you. You're welcome.
Speech.
Put him on the spot.
Okay. Move on to the acceptance of reports, Senior Executive Team Monthly Report, Economic Development and Zoning Monthly Report, Library Monthly Report, Public Safety Monthly Report, Parks and Rec, Senior and Disabled Services Monthly Report.
I'll make a motion to accept all of the reports.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second, is there any discussion?
I have questions for several of the department heads. Tim, I'll let you have the first crack. I noticed in the report that the percentage of transfer requests has dropped considerably from close to 90% down to almost 80%. Do we have all of the additional staff in place?
Everybody is in staff except for one of the full-time positions, so we have one open position that we're waiting to fill with the right candidate. We have multiple applicants that are going to be applying once they are through the paramedic class in August, so that is not going to be a problem to fill it. It's just coincidental why we're having to turn some of them down, just due to the fact that we're so busy on 911 calls or out on others, and we're having so many requests at the same time. So obviously we can only take so many trucks out of the city, and we got to keep one here. So if you look at the numbers, you can see, and I don't remember exactly what the number is, but Fort McCoy continues to be in our city, giving us mutual aid almost daily, it seems like anymore, just because that's feast or famine, right, in the ambulance service.
Are we going to be getting close to having 4 trucks on call?
4 trucks meaning staffed.
Yeah.
We are staffed for 4 trucks pretty much Monday through Friday when Deputy Chief Robarge is in the office, and we have a part-time person. We do not fill that 4th truck with any additional overtime. So with Deputy Chief Likely and 1 part-time person, unless if there's vacations or call-ins, but we try to make those adjustments the best that we can. And if you don't mind me hitting real quick, as long as I'm up here, as we all deal with staffing issues, Everest, they're our company that's doing the remount on the current unit, had somebody leave, and it was one of their lead people, so that kind of backlogged and pushed our end of May delivery to sometime, it sounds like in July. So they're doing their best. We're at the top of the order, just kind of waiting for them to finish the product up. So that was the delay. I'm not sure if that was going to be one of your questions or not.
No, it wasn't. That's all I have.
Okay,
I don't know if anybody else has questions for you.
thanks.
And I have a question for Joe, Parks and Rec. I was under the impression that the Flair Avenue ballpark is going to be playable this summer. Is that still on course to be playable?
Well, it doesn't look like that as of now. So, like I said before, we're dealing with a subcontractor of the general contractor for the turf replacement, where they had the turf in there and it wasn't up to our standards, so we made the contractor remove it. It was our understanding that they're supposed to be in here last summer to replace the turf, but corresponding with that, with the general contractor, they're supposed to be in there this week to do that. So it's kind of a back and forth between the general and the sub, so we're just waiting on that. So once that's installed, then we can redo the outfield at the main field and just let the grass mature, and then we can play on it.
That's all I have for you.
I do have a question for the Park and Rec Director.
Sure.
One of them was, ironically enough, I had several questions this week on the ball fields, but you've answered that clear enough. Any outstanding projects for the 50th tractor pull that you have out of Rec Park, or are we all set for that event?
Pretty much, we got those all shaped up here the last month or two. We did that Midway project. That should be ready to go, and we did some improvements around the grounds to make it more accessible for visitors to that facility, so we should be ready to go here
You feel good about
next week.
Thank you. That's all I had for
I
grounds.
have a question for you too.
Sure.
Mr. Cross. On that Flair Avenue project, the field, if you're looking at the building from the parking lot, the one on the
Okay.
right, kind of looks to me like the sloping is just not correct on that. Is there something, is that going to be addressed?
Yeah, we have been addressing that as well with the contractor, so
Okay.
we'll be looking at that as soon as that turf is in, and they can start shaping up the rest of the stuff, so.
The other two fields without the turf on them? Because I'm talking about the one that doesn't have the turf on it.
That doesn't or does?
Doesn't.
The one to the right, yeah, that was our third field that has not, that was partial field, that was an infield, and then that's for future development for that. Where do we decide we want to put the fence if we do more fundraising, or a user group would come along and want to develop that, so that was just, we ran out of funds for that, so that's a backstop infield mix, so that's for future development as well,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, because it tails down pretty good there towards the foul line.
Yeah, and that's for drainage, and like I said, as soon as we can find more funds, whether it's a user group, we can put fence up where needed and develop that third field there.
All right, perfect, thank you.
How's your pool? Maintenance wise, is it everything running?
The pool is scheduled to open tomorrow at noon, so we're excited about that. It's been quite the battle the last couple of weeks, finding staff, having a lifeguard class, and then also some mechanical issues with the pool heater and also some systems within the pool. So, you know, that pool is going on about 20 years old, and it's had a lot of things. And like I tell the community, pools are, you know, meant to be run in warmer weathers, 365 days a year. You see what you know, winters does the streets and things like that. It does the same to pool vessels. So a lot of hard work last couple of weeks, but we're excited to open tomorrow at noon. And hopefully, knock on wood, if we, you know, get the staff to commit, we'll hopefully offer swim lessons towards the end of July and early August is our goal for the summer. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Joe.
Just a thought that I had, with the tractor pull coming up next weekend, they have paid camping. I'm not sure if their campground is in the city limits or not. Has it been annexed?
No, the Egg Society's campground is not in the city.
I wasn't sure, because I was wondering if it was, would it be eligible for room tax on the camping fees?
Nope, you ain't touching that. Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question for Director Morales. Could Good evening, Director. A couple questions. In your set team report, there's a line in there that just states social media policy. Just wondering if you could clarify, was there an update to that policy? Was it a review of that policy, training? What is that in reference to?
Back in late December, senior executive team, we talked about the need to develop a written social media policy that would do 3 things. Number 1, standardize messaging from all city entities to media. Number 2, create clear guidance for each department social media page. And then number 3, create clear guidance for employees on personal social media use, given that they are government employees. There's no update to that right now. I've taken over full control of the city Facebook page, so right now we're just kind of looking at how our posts are doing and faring, and then we'll develop the policy that kind of puts into place what we should be doing for each post. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, a great asset to the city to have that developed, so I appreciate the efforts there. The other questions were more around the economic development and zoning. You also mentioned in there's some maybe potential updates on the short-term vacation rentals within the city. Do we have a update on that?
We are working on a draft ordinance. So we've been talking to the Long Range Planning Committee and the Planning Commission about an ordinance that would come obviously to this body for final approval. The ordinance is really geared towards creating a permit or conditional use permit system, and that will allow us to do 2 primary things. The first being more accurately track within the city how many short-term vacation rentals are eating up our existing housing stock as we try to tackle the housing crisis. The second thing it would do is help the treasurer determine who we should be collecting room tax from. And then a third output of the program would be enforcement. So by state law, we cannot limit the number of short-term vacation rentals within city limits. But the state statutes say that if we have created a permit system, and after receiving a permit, a short-term vacation rental owner, if the property comes into violation, whether it's noise complaints, could even be the weeds, over whatever violation of ordinance, then we can revoke the permit. So that is really geared towards addressing some of the citizen concerns we've had about neighboring short-term vacation rentals and transient traffic coming in. So those are the 3 kind of pillars of the ordinance we're looking at right now.
What's your estimation on when we would see a potential ordinance before us?
I would say August is a most likely, with maybe a September.
Understood. Then my last question. I noticed zoning violations on the code enforcement report. I don't recall seeing those in previous years. Is that something we have now just started tackling, or?
Yeah, so you'll now see a monthly code enforcement report, which is in the code enforcement officer's job description.
And I guess I'm used to seeing you didn't remove your snow, or you didn't cut your grass, or there's a junk car, but there's a line now that says zoning violation. Is that?
Yeah, I don't know which particular violation you're talking about, but the code enforcement officer can cover down on any violation within Chapter 52, which is the zoning chapter.
I'll touch base with her. Thank you. That's all I have.
Are there any other questions?
I'd like to make a comment quick. I missed Mr. Dave, I'm sorry I missed your, I was a couple minutes late. Congratulations, and your tenure with Toma is very important to us, and I appreciate that. And then, just to echo, the programs at the library look really good this month, so appreciate all your effort on that.
Okay. We'll move on to the consent agenda.
We need to accept.
Oh,
You better hurry to get out of here tonight.
no. So we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Now we'll move on to the consent agenda. We'll, approval of minutes from the May 20th, 2025 meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
I believe there are several items in that consent agenda, not just the minutes.
Yeah. Is that for everything?
You want to do everything all at once?
Yeah. That's for consent.
Okay. So, okay, approval of the minutes of May 29th, 2025. Item 10, approval of annual renewal of Class A liquor license, Class A fermented malt beverage, Class B liquor, Class B fermented malt beverage, and Class C wine licenses. Approval of temporary Class B fermented malt beverage and temporary Class B wine license application for the Toma Lions Club. Approval of a resolution to, oh, that's common council already. That's the last one.
No, that
That's common council.
yeah, down.
Sure. Approval of resolution for payment of monthly bills. Approval of special event outdoor cabaret license for Scott Wilcox at Gillette Park in downtown Toma for music in the park throughout June, July, and August of 2025. Employee handbook revision. Approval of ambulance service rate increase.
I would request that items 14 and 15 be withdrawn from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda since they were not at the committee of the whole meeting.
Second.
We have a motion to remove item 14 and 15 and a second, and put them on the regular general agenda. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. They will be moved down.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as amended.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as amended. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Public Works and Utilities Commission.
I would ask that we go to item 14.
Oh! Say what?
Item 14.
Okay, employee handbook revisions, general provisions.
And make a motion to approve the revisions to the general provisions of the employee handbook on page 66 as presented by staff.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Approval of ambulance service rate increase.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
These increases bring our rates in a equalized portion to other surrounding communities. However, a lot of them fees are dictated by Medicare and Medicaid rather than our billing price. So it's not an automatic increase of the total amount.
Any further discussion? Tim's back there shaking his head. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Move on to Public Works and Utilities Commission, approval of compliance maintenance report.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 17, approval ordinance authorizing sidewalk cafes in downtown. Need a motion to forego the first reading.
I'll make a motion to waive the first reading.
I'll second.
Motion and a second to forego the first reading. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Same with second. reading. Looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to waive the second reading.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Now we're looking for adoption. We need a motion for adoption.
I'll make a motion to adopt
Second.
the sidewalk cafe
We have a
ordinance.
motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Discussion. I would just ask that we specify the application and permit still needs to be drafted, and we would ask the Director of Economic Development to complete that task.
Director Morales, you want to speak to that, please?
Yes, so that, the motion would eventually need to include that the Director of Economic Development and Zoning would have the authority to develop and publish the application. Speaking to the mayor and the city attorney prior to the meeting, we, the three of us, concurred that a recommendation of a $500 permit fee be approved with this motion. That would enable us to develop the application, charge the permit fee, and get permits issued before the next common council meeting, should you all feel that this ordinance is worthy of adoption. So we would be looking for an amended motion that would include the language for the application and $500 permit fee. Does that answer the question?
I'll amend my motion to authorize the Economic Development Director to create the permit, develop the permit, and also create the application, and also to, that the fee is $500.
Who had the second?
I did, and I would second that.
Is there any further discussion on this?
On the as amended,
Yes.
question as far as is there a percentage limit of how much of the sidewalk can be obstructed? I didn't see any limits in there anyplace.
Yeah.
No, I don't recall a percentage on
It
the
was
sidewalk.
a distance, I think, 4 feet.
Right.
4 feet.
Well, there's a distance from the
Yeah.
fire hydrant to the crosswalks and disabled parking spots, but other than that, I didn't see any.
I think there was a distance for the 4 feet, but we can look at it.
Yeah, so section D, item 4, all activities at the Sidewalk Cafe shall be conducted so as to maintain a minimum width of 4 feet of unobstructed public pedestrian walkway between the Sidewalk Cafe and the edge of the sidewalk adjacent to the curb and other obstructions.
I stand corrected.
Is that, any other further questions? Okay, thanks.
Question for the mayor.
Yes.
Has this gone to the ordinance committee for review?
I don't believe it has.
Would this be an instance where we want to do that?
So I spoke with Director Morales about that very fact, and the thought process was to get it before you, given the fact this is the month
Timing,
of June
yeah.
and timing. The way that ordinance committee works is it's as needed or as directed by you all, so I think it's well within the rights of this council, given the exigent circumstances of wanting it to be available for June,
Right.
to have it go without it going.
Completely understand the timing, and, I mean, I reviewed it for the last several minutes, and it looks to be okay, but I don't think it would hurt, even if we approved it tonight, to send it to that committee for review of any potential things that may have been missed, so. I'm fine with the approval, but maybe we think about having a review.
Director Reynolds, on that permit fee, is this application and permit fee a yearly thing, one-time fee?
Yearly.
Yearly, so it'll be $500 a year to apply for this?
Correct.
Okay, got that.
If I may, one note of context, this ordinance, the foundation of it is another municipality ordinance is in effect. And the only, so this is currently somewhere this is being enacted. We did make 2 adjustments that made it easier to acquire the permit, whereas the skeleton that we took had redundant restrictions in place. But just to reassure the council, this is not something that we drew up on a cocktail napkin yesterday. This is something that is in place somewhere else in the state.
And please, no, there was no disrespect there. We have placed a committee to do the
For
research for
ordinances,
us.
yeah.
And I think it's good practice to have a review, but I understand the timing of it. and
Absolutely.
People, businesses want to do it, so understand. And I think it does look good.
Any other questions on
I have a question
Okay.
on that one-time fee. Would that be yearly, like a permit? Like
It would be
the
a
liquor
yearly fee.
license
Mhm.
And all that? So every year they would have to renew?
Yes, ma'am, every year.
Okay.
I just have one comment. Thank you for putting this together, because I think this does help the downtown, and it's going to be a sign that we're actually helping.
Yeah, to give credit where credit is due, Ben Rohr, our associate planner at Vanderbilt Associates, put the grunt work in on this, so.
It's fantastic.
Any other questions for me while I'm up here? Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I would like to get Brian's input, since he is head of Public Works. Have you had a chance to review the ordinance?
Yes. And I was just going to chime in on the clearance. American with Disabilities Act also would be an umbrella on top of this as well, that you've got to comply with those widths, which are less than 4 feet actually. So your ordinance exceeds that, and yeah, we would recommend approval.
Thank you, sir. That is all.
Are there any other questions?
I have one more
Sure.
question. for,
Go ahead, Alderperson Pater.
Mr. Murphy. So I think, just a question I'm going to ask again. Has the police department been informed of the new ordinance, if approval, on the?
To my knowledge, they have not reviewed this ordinance.
Okay. I'm just worried about the alcohol side of that.
We have not, this has not been, they were not in the review session on this. We may have had a conversation about the sidewalk cafe
Well, they kinda
piece,
were.
but they may be. I don't want to tell you that, and it turned out to be inaccurate. I would say what it is safe and factual to say they did not do a review of this ordinance, no.
Okay.
Are there any other comments, discussion items? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Move on to appointments. We do all these at once. Approval, Ethics Board appointment.
Move to approve the appointment of Nicole Jacobs.
We have
Second.
we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 19, approval of library board appointment.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 20, approval of Historic Preservation Commission appointment.
I will move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Approval of Toma Housing Authority Commission appointments.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Point of order. You have 2 appointments listed for the Housing Authority as vacancies. It has not been designated which appointee is serving which vacancy. Second point, I have not resigned my position as a commissioner, and as such, the appointment of a replacement is out of order.
You want to speak to it?
So as we previously discussed, you would still be on the commission here. You're currently occupying a citizen seat, so this would
Yes.
move you to an alderperson seat. And so one would fill the vacancy created by Sandra, I'm sorry, with her name, Vierchek, and then
Virk. Sandra Virk.
Virk, thank you. And then the other one would be speaking with the mayor. I believe there's going to be a conversation with Alderperson Pater, who's going to vacate the alderperson seat that you would move into. So your citizen seat would be taken by that second applicant.
Point of order. State statute dictates how a commissioner may be removed. That process has not taken place.
She's resigning though? She's voluntarily resigning?
Really?
Yes.
She's voluntarily resigning.
Huh?
She's,
Voluntarily resigning.
I have not and was not planning on doing so.
no, she is.
She is.
I am.
That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant to the appointment of a commissioner.
We could probably pull up the state statute right now if there's that concern, but, you know, Alderperson Pater's voluntarily resigned her seat in a conversation with the mayor. So one of these two is filling the vacancy created by the executive director, and then you would still be on the commission, but as an alderperson, you have to fill an alderperson seat, is my understanding. But if we need to, I would defer to the city attorney if we need to review the state statute, and we could table this for the next session.
So I think in fairness to Alderperson Yerington, he wanted to speak with me today, and due to some other obligations that we had right up to the council meeting, I was not able to speak with him. So he handed this to me, so there's a few things that I'm looking at, both in terms of our ordinance as well as the handbook that were provided. So I think it makes sense that we table it to make sure that we address his concerns. I don't think there's any hurry in doing this.
The appointment of the vacancy for Sandra Burdick's position should go forward.
So we have another person.
And that would be the Rebecca person, is what you're saying? She would be taking that position?
Correct.
Correct. Is there a motion on the table?
So the motion is to approve both appointments.
It has to be withdrawn.
Or
Or
amend it, or amend it to.
Does anybody have any more questions for me while I'm up here?
Thank you.
Who has the motion?
Who made the motion?
Motion is Peter, second is Dinsky. I'd be willing to amend.
Yeah, I made the motion.
Yeah, so do you want to withdraw your motion, or do you want to amend it to?
I made a motion to resign off that committee.
She, what we need is you to amend your motion to say that we will still appoint Sandra Veer, or Rebecca, what's her name?
Corvex?
Giroux, as the director for the Housing Authority, and table the appointment of the other two committee members until further research.
So Rebecca would replace
Sandra.
Ed Baker and Sanders.
Correct.
Got it.
And it's a seat.
Correct. So we need to.
I amend that motion.
Okay. So we have an amended motion, a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We're going to move on to the general agenda. approval of reimbursement of facade improvement grant program application 1-2024 Jack's Steakhouse.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Question for the director. Are you requesting the exact amount in there, or are you okay with the motion as it's stated? I can amend if you need the amount.
I apologize, we were looking at the state statute. Can you tell me what item?
We're approving
Jack's.
Jack's reimbursement. We just
Facade
approved the reimbursement, but I just want to know if you want the amount in it.
Yes, exact amount,
I would
please.
amend my motion to include the amount of $6,923.40.
Second.
I think he had the second, right?
Okay, we have an amended motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
It says that the applicant is entitled to 6823 in one spot and 6923 in another, which is correct. Just so we get the right amount in the minute.
The final cost of the project was $9,097.86, so whatever 75% of that is, somebody's got a calculator. I can't do that math in my head.
It's 68, not the 69.
I will amend my motion again for the amount of $6,823.40.
Okay.
There we go. Good catch.
So we have an amended motion to the amended motion. Is there any further discussion?
I would just add that project turned out very well. It's a very good example of what that can do for our downtown.
It did. It's a very, very nice addition. So hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Approval of facade improvement grant program application 2-2025, the Bank Bar.
Motion to approve with the stipulation of the zoning administrator to get the final documents in place. That they're missing out the checklist.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Question for Director Morales. Have we received those requested items?
Yes, he provided the financial letter, and they are using 2 shades of gray for the paint.
Approved shades of gray?
Yes.
There's lots of shades of gray.
It's like 50. Sorry.
It's not pink. Any further discussion?
I just heard this count. So.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries.
That's not where I was going at, Travis.
Item 24, approval of facade improvement grant program application 4-2025, Toma Cash Mercantile.
I make a motion to approve their grant application as well with the same stipulation of getting those final checklist items provided to the economic director.
Second.
Is there any further discussion?
Same question for Director Morales. Have they been received?
No, and that's not on them. I need to communicate with them, so that's on me. No, we don't have that yet.
But will not be approved.
Correct.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. Approval, amendment to job description of city treasurer.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 27, approval of amendment to job description of Director of Public Works and Utilities.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Point of order.
We have to move back to item 26. Sorry.
25.
Or 26.
Clerk, 25, clerk.
The clerk.
The clerk's one used.
Oh, okay. Approval of amendment to job description for the city clerk.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 28, approval budget amendment to transfer $500 from election operations to administrator operations for 3 July employee barbecue.
Motion to approve. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Great idea. Love it.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We need a motion to adjourn to closed session.
Mayor, question before we do that.
Sure.
Are we able to go back to a previously covered item on the agenda?
Yes.
I just noticed something we should probably address. So I'm looking at item 14, and I made a note of it earlier, and I just missed it, but in item 14, the employee handbook revisions, part of that revision we approved includes the senior executive team may direct the compensation to be withheld in case of gross insubordination. That should be replaced by the city administrator, since we've approved that position.
Sure.
I don't know if we need to put that in a motion or come back later, but I just forgot to bring that up at that time.
Well, I think if, make a motion to go back to that agenda item.
And then we can address it. I would make that motion to go back to agenda item 14 before adjourning.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to go back to item 14 in the employee handbook revisions. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We're going back.
Make a
Motion carries.
motion to reconsider?
That would be reconsider that with that modification, because you were part of the
Yeah.
positive.
For.
Voted for, so you're making that motion.
So I would then make that motion to reconsider that approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
I would then make the motion to approve with the amendment of city administrator in place of senior executive team in that general provisions.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Good catch.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Travis. So now we're gonna need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion to adjourn in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Point of order. Adjourn to closed session. Okay,
Yeah.
not just adjourn.
Okay, that's what I meant, was closed session. So we're going to adjourn to closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.85, subparagraph 1, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee to discuss staffing and compensation for approval of contract for city administrator, approval of internal promotion to interim director of public works and utilities, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing in public funds, or conducting other specific public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. Approval of negotiating terms of land contract, and approval of amendment to rental contracts. Rental contract.
There's a couple more on the next page.
And the penalty for violation of provision of this section shall be as provided in section 1 through 14 in the municipal code.
No, it sounds like that. Where's the difference?
Conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategies to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is likely to become involved, for approval of council directives regarding possible litigation. Thank you very much.
I'll make a motion to go to adjourn to closed session.
Second.
I thought we were
We already did. Yeah.
We just vote now?
But all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We're in closed session.